I don't know if I'm going to have a job in 5 years.
Due to AI?
Yeah. Like the AI, right now I write the same amount of code in 10 times less time, right? So what if you can just write everything you want? Then who needs programmers? Or, well, actually, you might need programmers, but it's going to be a very specific type of skill. So we have to adapt, and maybe it's going to be less of us. Or it's like people have to reskill. A lot of people have to reskill. Like with for example, the agriculture revolution, like get robots in the fields, then people now have to learn how to use the robots. The same for us. Now we have to learn how to delegate to the AI, have to manage the AI, and then hope that it's not going to take our job in 5-10 years time, right?
So what would you say would be a good job secure path to take so that AI...
Plumber, electrician.
Okay. So you think...
There's always a huge demand for this, the blue-collar jobs.
So AI cannot overtake such jobs?
I think we're far behind.
Welcome to the Grammar School podcast. Today we are joined by a special guest, Mr. Alex Michail. Hello, Alex.
Hi, George. Good to be here.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here. Talk about experiences and learnings.
Let's start the podcast about, I want you to tell us about what you are doing right now. Like, what is your background? Who are you?
Okay. Yeah, sure. So my background is in technology. So I did my undergrad in London. I did pure science, and I was always fascinated with startups. So I basically, when I was at uni, I started dipping around startups. I started a little company in London for student food discounts. Then we moved into like a non-profit. So we did a platform with some friends at uni to gather opinions on the Cyprus problem. And then after uni, I went into startups and I joined this retail analytics startup in London. I got really fascinated with the whole startup scene because it was very small companies and you got to make a sort of a big impact into the company and the product and the people using it. You had like a lot of one-to-ones with customers. It was very exciting for me. So I was like, okay, this is the thing for me. This is what I'm going to do. So I had a 2-year stint at the retail startup. Then I moved to Sweden. I found this, again, very, very early, small startup company in Sweden. Actually, I found it through my girlfriend at the time. It was a retail platform, to sell clothes, and she was selling her clothes online. And usually when she wanted, tech help, she would come to me, but she was able to figure it out herself. I was like, okay, this is a pretty good product. So let's just see what it is. And I ended up moving to Sweden for these guys.
Okay. And this was how many years after your university?
So that was 2 years after university.
Okay.
So I then moved to Sweden. I did another 2 years in that startup. And I was doing a lot of payments because it was an e-commerce startup. So I was doing a lot of payments. I got really interested into fintech.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of felt, okay, now this is kind of my time. I need to do something my own. I mean, it's nice working for other people, but I wanted to do something on my own. So I moved back to London and I met my co-founder at Plum through a common friend. We shared this common passion of understanding our finances. He was looking at it more from an investment perspective, and I was looking at it more from like a savings perspective because I couldn't save any money. I was basically could not budget anything.
Okay.
So I started playing around with.
So you like spending?
I like spending, and I kind of knew that I had to be saving as well, right? So I started playing around with my bank account. I was downloading the data, started analyzing and seeing where my money goes. And basically we ended up building an algorithm. Well, we started with an experiment saying that, okay, I'm going to build an algorithm that figures out how much to save for me. And he was going to try and save on his own with his own intuition. And it turns out that the algorithm was slightly better than his intuition. So we thought, okay, maybe we should build a product around this. So we built this algorithm that works for everyone, hopefully. So we help everyone save money without realizing it. And that was basically, at the time and also still now, there was a big savings issue in the UK. A lot of people have no savings to even address like a small car trouble, or they don't even have like maybe 4 to 6 months of an emergency fund.
Really? It's that bad?
Yeah. It's pretty bad. And, I guess it's also, some salaries are pretty low. We live in a consumer society. People spend money, and also it becomes a lot complicated, right? Saving money is like what should I do? What's the best option for me? Should I put it in the bank? Should I put it into investments? What's the best bank for me? What interest rate should I be looking at, for example? So some people just get inundated with choice and they can't act. So we figured if we take that choice away and we just tell them, hey, we're going to build something that will do it for you. You don't have to think about it. And at the end of the month, you're going to look at your balance and you're going to see some money saved and you will not feel it through the month. So basically we're tackling it's like a behavioral, like an economic principle of loss aversion. So people don't want to lose stuff, right? So we made it so that they wouldn't feel it and they wouldn't see it. So they wouldn't feel us taking money away from them.
Okay.
But we're taking away and saving it for their future.
Basically. So you developed the algorithm in a way such it took the income and created savings, as I understand.
Exactly. So we looked at their balance, we looked at their transactions, and we figured what's an amount that they could save that it would not affect them that much through the month. And we took that amount and broke it into smaller pieces. So we would take a little bit of money each time. So we wouldn't take the whole amount up front. And that way we were also able to, follow the fluctuations of their balance through the month, because maybe some months they would have an unexpected spending or maybe something that we didn't account for. So by splitting it, we were able to react more to differences in real life versus our expectation of how their balance would fluctuate through the month.
And this was all powered by AI.
Yeah, it was not the AI we have today. It was another more simplified version. But basically it was a lot of math, a lot of statistics behind it, some decision trees and all that. And we launched it with the public and it grew from there.
Okay. So I think many people, they have this connection in their minds that artificial intelligence is ChatGPT or Meta AI, which it is. But I think the algorithm you used, and now that you stated that it was a different AI then and a different now, can you give us a little bit more detail about what you mean about that?
Yeah, of course. So AI is a pretty big sector, right? So what we're using right now is a subset of AI called LLMs, right? We've all heard this term, is large language models, which is based on basically neural networks. This whole sort of sector, the LLM sector, started from Google in, I think it's 2017. They launched this paper that basically said that it's possible to build a neural network to basically predict the next word in a sort of stream of words if you've trained the network on massive amounts of data.
Okay.
And using just this simple technique, it's possible to generate coherent language and then just actually basically produce copy and text that looks like the ones that we write and speak.
Yeah.
But AI research has been around since the 1960s, 1970s, right?
Really? Okay.
It's and a lot of like small discoveries and
improvements.
Exactly. Incremental improvements led to this huge boom. Back then we had other like versions of AI, usually called machine learning. So basically what we would do is, I will give you an example of where we used AI. We would take all of the transactions of a user, and we wanted to find their recurring bills, like the electricity, their gas, and anything else that they've been paying on a regular cadence. To do that, you use an algorithm called k-means clustering. It's basically an algorithm with sort of unsupervised AI where it figures out on its own which things are basically close together and they look the same.
Okay.
So we would find transactions that they look the same, and group them together. And that formed, for example, a transaction, paying your utility bill. For example, you would take the merchant or maybe the price or maybe the day of the month. And then those facets of a transaction are similar to other.
So there's a pattern between the
transactions.
transactions.
So you find a pattern and you group them together.
Okay.
So there's a lot of other algorithms that you can run, but now AI has become synonymous to basically ChatGPT, which can do a lot of these things without, like, if you ask ChatGPT, if you give it a sentence and you tell it, what is the sentiment of this sentence? Is it positive or negative or neutral? It will immediately tell you.
Okay.
Before, to do that, we had to train models on thousands and thousands of examples saying, hey, this type of text is positive, this type of text is negative, and you would learn the associations of the words with the label positive or negative or neutral.
Yeah.
But all of this now is baked into ChatGPT. So a lot of these things have become super easy now.
So it's part of the improvement, you would say.
Yeah. All of the concepts that existed in the past now kind of came together into like this AI that we're using today.
And this helped you overall develop this algorithm, which apparently gets a percentage of your income.
Yeah.
And it sorts it accordingly, as I understand.
Okay. So that was the first version of Plum back in 2017, where we launched that to the public and people started saving money with Plum. It was, on one hand, it was a no-brainer for people, but also it was very hard to trust, because imagine you're trusting a machine now. You get
your
access to your bank account. And you're like, okay, take as much as you want. Obviously, we added some guardrails, so you wouldn't take more than X.
And this was when?
2017. Gradually, we moved into other products as well, because, okay, saving money is good, but if you make 0% on your money, then basically your money every year is eroding away because of inflation, right? Mm-hmm. We know that inflation is 2 or 3% a year. So things are 2 or 3% more expensive next year than today, right? So if you're saving £100 and milk costs £1 today, you're able to buy 100 milks. Next year, you're going to be able to buy 98. So people think that, okay, I'm saving my money in my bank account right now, and my money is safe and it's never going to go down because there's no risk. But actually, you're losing 2 to 3% a year. I mean, inflation was much more now, but now it's back to like what it was before.
Yeah.
So people don't really realize that you're actually, by keeping the money in the bank, you're actually losing 2% of your money every year.
Due to inflation.
So people need to be able to invest their money in whatever risk level they're comfortable with. Right?
Okay.
So that's what we introduced after savings.
So first it was only savings. Now it's also a percentage that could be invested.
Exactly. Now people have the option to say, I want 20% into cash, 80% into investments. And then that's how the product grew to offer multiple things. I mentioned before the transaction clustering thing. The reason we did that was because we wanted to figure out how much people were paying on their gas and electricity, because in theory, there could be a better offer for them out there. So we would take that amount, we would basically connect to providers that would give us their own offer on gas and electricity. And if it was cheaper, we would offer that to people as well and say, hey, so within a week of using Plum, you could have an offer on the table, and it would say you can get 50, pounds a year cheaper electricity, gas. Do you want to switch to this one? And then it was pretty easy to switch. So because we had a lot of the data, we were able to switch them with not a lot of hassle.
Okay.
So that was something else that we offered.
So I acknowledge that you may have seen a lot of incomes since it was your job, or was it only the AI who did the work mostly?
Well, we had a lot of controls around the data, because it's sensitive data, it's personal data.
So you monitored it.
Yeah. And also you couldn't just access data. You had to ask for permission. We had systems built in.
Yeah. What percentage of people reinvest their money? Is it a lot from what you have seen, or do most spend it like away, or do they save?
So back then, because now I'm not at Plum, so I don't know what the percentages are right now, but back then, I think we had a pretty decent chunk of people investing as well.
Okay.
Usually, I think people, that's my own opinion, but I think you should be looking at assuming you have some money away for any emergencies, say 4 to 6 months of spending, you have it in cash in the bank. I personally do 20% cash, 80% investments. Because the invested money grows over time and it compounds, right? So when you're young, it might not seem that you're making a lot, but the same money, because imagine like you're making, say, 5% a year, then the 5% you made the first year is going to be 5% on the 5% the second year. So it's sort of an exponential equation, right? You're going to do economics. So I guess you know that.
Exponential is also in mathematics.
Exactly, right? The money during the later years of your life, when you say 50 or 55, the money just compounds really fast. So then your investments grow rapidly.
But then
But
doesn't,
you need patience for it.
yeah. But then doesn't like someone get confused between what should I buy, what is a necessity, what is a need, and what is a want, and how much should I invest? Because if you go with that mindset, you may sacrifice, for example, maybe a shoe purchase, for example.
Well, so this is after. So the 2080 I mentioned is from the money I decided that I will save. 20 goes in cash and 80 goes into investments.
Which cash is your expenditures, I assume.
No, that is after my expenditures. I just want to keep cash around because,
okay.
Well, because I guess there's a few reasons. Maybe I want to buy something that I didn't plan for, like, or maybe I want to go on holidays.
Okay.
Right. Or maybe there's an investment that I want to make that I need to have cash for in the future. Right. So you mentioned wants and needs and all that. I guess after I budgeted my wants and needs, I'm not actually that good.
Okay.
I'm not very disciplined. But the remaining,
you also mentioned that earlier.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I built the thing, but now I'm better, but not that much better. So it's the amount that you decide that you're going to put away. Then that's the 80-20 split. Okay. Wants and needs, I guess it's up to each individual. Some people like to buy a lot of stuff. Other people are not very materialistic and they don't like to buy stuff. I'm more of I want to buy.
Yeah.
On the same.
But then I guess you would have a less exponential increase over the years of investment.
Yes.
And also investment. Could you give us a few recommendations of where and what to invest?
Well, I can't give financial advice.
Okay,
right?
fair.
I have to caveat that. What I do, just my personal thing, I just basically put my money in an index fund. Index fund is basically a fund of multiple. It's a basket.
S&P 500.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. You know that. I actually put it in a more diversified fund. I don't do S&P is in the US.
Yeah.
So, I mean, recently the US stock market has taken a dive.
Can you tell us a bit about that?
About why it's taking a dive?
Yeah, about what's going on.
Well, I'm not.
Essentially, we had, Donald Trump with the tariffs and so on and so on.
Yeah, I think the market just reacted to the uncertainty of what's going to happen. Well, so
it's due to a drop in consumer confidence, you think?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, what do you mean consumer confidence?
People are more hesitant to buy
the stocks.
And
so investors basically, not consumers. So investors are. Because they don't know what's going to happen. Like, okay, let's say Trump went on with the tariffs and there's a lot of ways it can go, I guess. One is the other countries would capitulate to the US and then they would have to pay them.
Mm-hmm.
The other way it could go is that the US would just be isolated from the rest of the trading. The other way it could go is that Trump would remove the tariffs and it was just a negotiation play. It seemed like maybe
seemed like that.
Yeah. So because of the uncertainty, people don't want the risk. So they would sell their positions. And if you sell, the price drops, right? So that a lot of selling happened, especially on the more high growth companies that you basically want a good economy for them to grow.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of selling happening. So the prices dropped. So if you had a very diversified portfolio, say you weren't invested only in tech and growth, then your losses, these are not real. Like it's not that you lost money. It's an unrealized loss. Like if you keep it, then it might go up again, right?
Long term.
Exactly. Usually if you invest over like 30, 40 years, then
there's no
you would see a lot. Yeah. On average, it will go up 6 to 7 to 8% a year, but you would see a lot of like up.
That's based on history though.
Yes.
It's on historical evidence.
Exactly.
But I think there's an indication that, history may not always repeat itself.
Yes, but also we don't know the future. So, if you're always acting on a very long horizon,
mm-hmm. then
I have good faith that on
it
average
will always go up.
Be a positive.
Since the economy will grow.
It's not always going to go up.
Yeah.
It's going to go up and down. So if you have you need some mental strength as well. Like when you see your portfolio being like minus 40, you're like, oh my God. I'm not going to sell everything, right? I'm going to keep it, or maybe depending on the factors, I'm going to invest more. Like during COVID, for example, my portfolio was like minus 50, minus 60%.
Mm-hmm.
But My belief was that this was a temporary situation because of COVID, and once that solution was that's solved, then things would go back to normal.
So you had good faith.
I had good faith, and I kept investing because everything was so cheap.
You kept since it dropped. Yeah, that's
Exactly,
that's
right?
a smart move. Yeah.
I kept investing, and now it's better. Now it went to positive. After COVID, it went positive. So you need some discipline. There's this thing called dollar cost averaging. I don't know if you've heard of it. You're basically investing the same amount of money every month, like you do with the savings account. So you invest at the highs, but you also invest at the lows. And it's pretty hard for us to try and time the market. People are like, "Oh, I'm gonna buy low and sell high."
Yeah.
But if it was that easy, then everyone would be doing that, and everyone would be millionaires, right?
True.
It's pretty hard to know when the low is the lowest and whether the high is the highest. So when you're doing dollar cost averaging, you don't care. You just put money, the same amount every month. So you're investing at hopefully all of the periods in time that you would capture the highs and the lows. And in general, it's just a pretty easy way to grow the money, basically, instead of trying too hard.
So what I think you need when investing, you need emotional intelligence so that, when your money drops, you need to stay calm and say that it's okay. It will go back up. You don't need to rush it out and claim it, and then you'll be with your loss, right?
Yeah. That's my opinion as well. Right. Like, obviously that's not my job. Like, I'm not an investor.
Yeah.
Exactly. I do it on my own account. So there's other people that are much more knowledgeable that would say, maybe this time is different, and maybe now you need to be in much more like safe assets. For example, I don't know, treasury bills, or like bonds or whatever, that it's a bit more safe, less return.
Also, many people will say savings is a bit more safe. A savings account.
It is, but as we know, inflation erodes that cash. And also in Cyprus, we know that it's not always that safe to keep money in a bank, right?
Fair.
Because of the haircuts that happened.
But the stock market also crashed, I think, with
the stock market. Yes, but the stock market crashes. The difference is that it's not a realized loss. So if money in your bank account is
disappeared,
okay, maybe you're gonna get something in return. But the stock market, if it dips,
can go back up.
It can go up unless you sell at a loss. If you don't sell, it can go back up.
So I forgot to mention. Can you tell us a bit of where you studied? University.
I studied at Imperial College. I did computer science, so nothing to do with wealth management and everything.
Yeah. So how did you adjust from computer science to economics and to AI and all that?
Well, AI
wealth management. Yeah.
AI is
correlated.
Yeah, it's like I think now pretty much all degrees are AI degrees. There's a very big AI component in all the computer science degrees. Economics is just, I'm not an expert in economics, but it's just something that I was interested in. We had to apply a few of these theories for Plum, like nudging people to save money, for example, or basically addressing what's called scarcity. So if you don't have money, then no matter how intelligent you are and disciplined you are, you can't really make money appear out of thin air. So we had to help people get out of a scarcity situation where you don't have money. So if you don't have money, you can't do anything. So it was just an interest. And I'm also following this podcast called Gary's Economics. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yeah.
It's Gary, a trader in the UK that speaks a lot about taxing the rich. But he also explains a lot of economic concepts in a pretty easy and simple way. So I follow that.
But you would say that
interest.
You would say that your university degree definitely helped you forward on 3 years in order to develop such startup companies, right?
It helped. It helped to an extent. Like I could write code before university. So when I was a teenager, I toyed around with like.
Did you get taught that in school or no?
Yeah. Well, yeah. We had some lessons, a course I think at school that was Visual Basic. I think it was back.
What school was it?
In Cyprus.
Yeah.
It was Elanidio.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a public school. So. But I did a lot of programming in my spare time. Like I did websites.
Like a hobby, yeah.
Yeah, I did websites and I did some games programming and like very simple stuff, right?
Okay.
But when I went to uni, there were two things that I think, stayed with me. And it didn't have to do with the actual courses.
Mm-hmm.
One is...
It's a mentality, you would say?
It's the mentality of how to learn.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of the stuff, I think the main thing that I learned at Imperial was how to learn. And the other thing is I felt that, I basically when I went to uni was the first time that I felt that I was very average. If that makes sense. And all of the people in my class were absolutely top.
Why would you say that though?
Say what?
That you were average compared to the others.
Well, that's what I felt.
Okay.
Because everyone was very good.
Due to higher education, like the others had, they were more educated.
Because Imperial just hires a lot of smart people.
Yes.
So not hires. It basically admits a lot of smart students, right? It's pretty hard to get into Imperial. I think now it's even harder than when I was at uni. So I remember the first lecture that I went to Imperial. I felt dumb.
Okay.
I did not understand anything. It was on purpose. They started teaching us this programming language that, so a lot of the kids in my class, they were almost professional programmers at that time. They were basically getting paid to program before university.
Mm-hmm.
I did it on my spare time, so I wasn't as good as them. But they started with this very obscure language called Haskell.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they still do it. And the purpose was to level the field. Because they figured that no one would know this language because it's pretty obscure. And it teaches you a lot of fundamentals of programming.
I've never heard of it before. Like if you tell me about programming languages, I mostly know C++ and Java and Python.
Yeah, exactly. This is a different type of language. It's based a lot on the concept of recursion. So it's a concept of like calling yourself a lot. So it requires you need to figure it out how it works. If you figure it out, then it's easy. But until you get there, it's like a bit of a brain maze. It's like so in the beginning, I didn't understand anything. Like I felt like, okay, I'm going to fail this degree. Like these guys, and I saw guys like they were amazing at it. They picked it up immediately.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, I'm lost. Like I don't really know what's happening.
It's maybe because they did it before though. Maybe
they were one, very smart people. And two, maybe they had, they were more familiar with certain concepts of programming before, but it just took a lot of learning and just trying to get to a point where, you became good.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I did. I mean, I became a programming teaching assistant at my second year at university. But it was in the beginning, I was lost. It's basically what I learned from that. It was, I guess it's never good to be the smartest person in the room. It's always good to have people that are better than you, so you learn and you become better.
There's an increasing competition, let's say.
Right.
It's also an economics concept.
Exactly, right? So, you learn from people. So, all of these people were around me, so I basically leaned on experience and expertise, and I learned from them. And I'm trying to always I'm not always very successful at that, but I'm trying to always like meet and work with people that are very, very good at what they do.
Mm-hmm.
So I can learn from them as well.
So the first thing you kept with you from uni, as I understand, was to always keep at it. Practice makes perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Due to the program and the other students that you were a bit behind. The second was, well, it's basically the thing I mentioned before was I learned how to learn. Like the first one is, I guess, it's the practice. Okay, you become good at your skill, but also because there's a lot of theory. So it was, okay, given all of this stuff, what are the important bits? How do I find other sources of information? And how do I learn after uni as well? Because a lot of the stuff that we do at computer science, okay, maybe we learn the theory, but if you want to be current, a lot of like LLMs and all that, they weren't even a thing when I was at uni, right? Even 5 to 6 years ago, maybe they weren't even taught at uni. So you need to be able to always learn and always, I guess, find ways to learn efficiently as well. Okay. So you had, how many startups before Plum?
Well, I mean, there were projects.
Okay.
So before Plum, I did 3 main projects, which was the non-profit thing for the Cyprus problem, that discount thing.
That's also a bit on the political side, don't you think?
Yeah, and it was a bit naive on our side, I think. Basically, what we wanted to do is we took the Annan plan.
Yeah.
And it was a team of 10 of us, all Cypriots, and then five of us would basically analyze the Annan plan and come up with questions that were related to certain paragraphs or sections of the plan. And we would basically post them as questions on our Q&A site. It was a Q&A site. It was like a forum.
Yeah.
And then we basically got people to discuss. And you could post as anonymous as well if you wanted to. Our idea was that we would gather all of these opinions and we would take them to the parliament and we would tell them, hey, this is what the people think.
Did you actually do that?
No.
Okay.
We didn't do that at the end. It was a pretty naive of us. Also, we're students. We got like exams and stuff, and it was we were paying for the costs of running the thing. So after a year, we decided to shut it down. But it was a pretty good experience to launch something and see it get used by even 100 people.
So you saw the discussions of, hundreds of Cypriots discussing the Anan plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
The fact that it was anonymous also, it some of the discussions, it became a bit heated as well.
Yeah.
But it was fun to see. And we also did another, again, not a startup, but we did the first hackathon in Cyprus. I think now they're much more popular, but back then, 2012. So we did the first hackathon. Again, it was the same team that we did the Cyprus problem. And we decided to work with the back. Actually, the first one was University of Cyprus.
Mm-hmm.
And we basically brought a lot of coders together for 48 hours, no sleep, to build whatever they wanted to build. And we had prizes from like Amazon and other sort of sponsors. And it was amazing. Like there was a team that built a submarine and they tested it in the toilet of the university.
Okay.
There was another team that built an augmented reality app. So they were basically walking around in the yard, and it was like little aliens that popped up in the screen. You had to shoot them, and all this in 48 hours, right? And it was
clip.
Yeah, no, I mean, okay, if you could sleep if you wanted to, but a lot of the teams just went straight on.
Yeah.
Pizzas and Red Bull and whatever. And that's actually this is the type of thing that actually got me into startups as well, because before, the thing that really got me into it was between the retail, analytics startup I mentioned in Sweden, what happened then is me and my friend, the guy that went to Trinity that I told you.
Yeah.
We won this hackathon in London. So we built, again, in 48 hours, we built this thing where it would track, products online and it would tell you when they're on discount. So we won a hackathon in London for that. And the prize was they would fly us to Silicon Valley to pitch our idea.
Wow.
By the time we went to Silicon Valley, we decided we don't want to do this. Like, it's not we don't see this as a company or whatever. It was just a toy thing that we built. But obviously, if you get a free ticket to Silicon Valley, you
have to go.
Right?
Yeah.
So we went there and we met a lot of people. Everyone was so obsessed with like starting a company and tech and all that. And I would go to any cafe that I would go to, there were people talking about their startup, about fundraising. And so I caught the bug and I came back to London. I was like, I have to start a company right now. And this is with that friend of mine. Unfortunately, he, at the last moment, he backed out. He felt it was too risky. So I was left without a partner.
Yeah.
So that's when I went to Sweden, because I found that startup there. But the bug stayed with me. That's when I came back to London, I did Plum.
You did Plum. So that was after you went to Sweden. Can you recall what you did in Sweden?
It was an e-commerce startup. So it was building a very easy way to sell online. So I was in charge of the payments for that.
Okay. So as I understand, you were more on the, let's say, founder side of these projects.
Yeah, founder and the technical side. Yeah.
Yeah. So have you had any experience as an employee?
Yeah. Well, the one in London, in Sweden, I was an employee. I was just a very early employee. Plum was the first thing that I co-founded. Then after Plum, I joined a friend of mine who was my roommate in Sweden, in his company. So again, that was another employee experience, but again, it was 10 people.
Yeah.
So I've always been drawn to the very, very small companies because I wanted to have a lot of impact and I wanted to do a lot of things as well.
Yeah.
Usually as a company grows, your role becomes specific. I was more drawn to, like, one day I might be doing design, another day I might be doing coding. I also wanted to talk to a lot of customers, so I liked doing that as well.
So there are many people that say sticking to one thing and being obsessed with one thing maybe lead to a more productive outcome than multitasking on two different things. What do you think about that?
I mean, it's true, I guess, to a certain extent, that if you keep doing one thing, you become expert.
Yeah, you told me you were designing and then, doing different stuff.
Yeah, I'm probably not the best in the world at either of the things.
Okay.
But I just like doing it, and basically I was the best quotes best at what the companies needed me to do at the point I joined them. Yeah. Because if you join a company with 10 people, you can't go very deep in one thing unless the company is very, very deep tech. So, maybe you're a researcher or you invest or like doing maybe bioscience or whatever. Mm-hmm. But if it's a company that is doing a consumer product, or maybe you're building, I don't know, software as a service or whatever, like a payroll platform, whatever. At the very beginning, you want people that can do a lot of things. So that skill is very valuable. So again, it depends on the stage, and the type of company you join.
Moving from an employee to a founder, I think you may have, been taught a lot of things, life lessons or anything having to do with work-related issues.
Yeah, it was a pretty hard move, to be fair. I had trouble letting go. So when I was let's say we started Plum, right? It was just me and my co-founder, Victor. So I built the whole thing, but then we had to hire people. And I just couldn't let go of my baby. It was my thing. Like, I didn't want people working on it. I felt that I pushed back on hiring for a long time. And when you're a founder, you're in this position where people look up to you, and you're expected to have a vision, and you're expected to be a good leader. And the way you act obviously affects the people in the company. Mm-hmm. And if they're affected, then the company's affected. And also you're responsible for their livelihood. If the company goes bust, then they're going to be out of a job. Or if you can't pay their salaries. So there's the added stress of that. So you basically, me as a CTO, I had to code, but also I had to hire. I had to be a tech leader. I had to work with my co-founder on the vision of the company. We had to do fundraising. So you get to do so many things. You take on a lot of responsibility, a lot of stress, a lot of risk, because usually when you start a company, you might you might put money in, or you might go without a salary for a while. Like for Plum, we didn't get a salary for the first 6 months. So we were living off our savings. You have to balance all of these things. The reward, if it goes well, is bigger than if you were an employee, which is, I guess, part of the reason you want to do it. You're okay with the risk, and you're doing it to get a higher reward. Obviously, it's very hard to succeed. Like 1 in 10, 1 in 5 even, startups fail. No, sorry, the opposite, succeed. 1 in 10 succeeds, right? It's like a 90% failure rate. But you're doing it for the game. Like, it's fun. You build something, you build it with the people you want to work with. You bring something to the world. If it succeeds, great.
Amazing.
If it doesn't, okay. At least the skills that you're going to get are transferable. People want to hire founders because, especially startups want to hire founders, ex-founders, because they've been through the whole phase, and they've seen they felt the pain. They've seen all the problems. So they can help them grow as well.
So can you tell us a bit more about how profitable the Plum was? Like,
right now, I don't know. Back then, it wasn't profitable. So there's the thing with consumer. I think right now they're probably profitable, or they're turning profitable soon. The thing with consumer companies, and also back then it was a different game. Now investors expect you to be much more revenue driven. Back then we were aiming a lot for volume of people. Because the way we made money was basically when we switched. You remember I said the electricity and gas got them a better offer. So that basically the companies that would pay you a commission.
Okay.
And we also had a subscription product that we charged a very small amount to be able to use investments. But we needed volume. We needed millions of users to get there. So until you get to volume, you're basically losing money. So we were operating on we had to fundraise every couple of years.
So now you're at the stage where you're getting more and more volume.
Now Plum has 2 million users.
But you're not there right now, right?
I'm not there. Now, I left in 2020. I'm still involved in the business, but I'm not operational.
Yeah.
I'm still a shareholder in the business, but I don't work in it or have any other affiliation with it.
So where are you now?
So now I'm toying with something new. So, I'm building something. It's very new. Like it's been like maybe 2 weeks with AI and insurance in healthcare in the US. So I'm doing it with a couple of, American friends of mine. But we don't, I mean, it's, the idea is, again, it's very new. The idea is like, if we're able to do what humans do with AI, then it's going to be much cheaper for us to operate. So basically, okay, let me take a step back. To get an insurance in the US, health insurance, you usually go to a broker. And then you tell them about your situation. They ask you a bunch of questions, and then they would maybe build a proposal for you, and they will recommend 3, 4, whatever plans that work for you, right? But that work is manual. Or maybe they have some software, but it's done by humans at the end of the day.
Yeah.
They have to talk to the individual. They have to fill in the application forms. They have to do the enrollment and all that. And it takes time. So our thesis...
Time is money.
Exactly, right? Our thinking is, well, what if there was just the AI doing all of the stuff? What if it was the AI talking to the individual? What if it's the AI doing the sort of the profiling, the recommendations, and ultimately doing the enrollment as well?
For the insurance.
Well, yeah. So the cost of a customer becomes cost of acquisition, and then cost of basically operating the customer, which is, in the case of AI, it's going to be like $5 a call. So if you do 2 calls, maybe a bunch of other API costs to OpenAI and whatever, it's going to be like $10, $15 a customer.
Yeah.
Right. But for us, for every customer you enroll, you might make $300, $400, right? If it's costing us $15 to service the customer, then we have a lot of budget to play with acquisition. So, but if we're equally good as any other broker acquiring users, then our margin is so big in the middle, because we can service an infinite amount of customers, whereas the traditional brokers, they have to be awake, right? Whereas we can service them at any point in the day. And also we don't have any limit on how many we can do at the same time, right? So we can have larger volumes and cheaper.
So how do you see this going? Is it going to be successful?
Well, I don't know. It's a bet, because the type of customer we're approaching right now is 65 plus. So who knows if they want to speak to an AI, you know?
Yeah.
Where I guess what we're trying to see if is there like a tiny sliver of that population that is interested in speaking to an AI? And if yes, is our experience going to be good enough for them to tell their friends and whatever other people of the same age group to use it? It's a pretty bold bet, I guess, but the thing is, with AI, even if it's not good right now, it will become good. I think it's inevitable that
that's artificial intelligence. Yeah. It learns from its mistakes, I think. Yeah.
Well, I hope it doesn't learn that much and then it becomes like the overlord.
Yeah.
But, I think where it's always changing, it's always improving, like within a year or two, it would be at a point where it would practically be indistinguishable in a call, I think, that you're speaking to a robot than a human. Okay. Even now it's pretty good. Like sometimes the way it like acts and like, it uses a lot of like, you can tell it to use disfluencies, for example, like, and maybe you can even tell it to stutter.
Make it more natural, let's say.
Like you can tell it pause, maybe stutter a bit. So it becomes like a person. So that's the bet. We'll see if it works.
Let's go a bit away from the whole entrepreneurship. Actually, no. I want you to tell us a message to all the people aiming to start a business, a startup right now. What would be your top 5 tips, let's say?
Top 5? Wow. That's a big ask.
Okay, just tell us generally some tips.
I guess, well, my first thing is that it's not a way to get rich quick, right? It's a lot of work to build something from scratch and then get it out to people and have them use it and iterate. And then a lot of the times it's just not going to work and you have to change the word pivot. You have to pivot to something else. So you have to have a lot of determination and grit. You have to believe in what you're doing. So it's not easy. It's not, I'm going to start it and within a year I'm going to sell it. I'm going to make millions.
Yeah.
So you need to basically be aware that you're entering. It's like more of a marathon. Like it's going to be, so you have to like it a lot. You have to, what you're going to be doing, you have to feel it. You have to feel the problem, or you have to enjoy the work. Like in my case, I enjoy building products. I enjoy having people use them.
Many people that enjoy the work, they don't define it as work.
Exactly. Right. It becomes like part of life. So, which is good and bad. But if you're going to be building a company, I think it's inevitable that you're going to be thinking about it at every point during the day.
You have to keep at it. It's a long way.
Exactly. It's a long way. It usually might take 5-10 years of your time. And at the end of the day, you might make no money.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to also be aware of that. The other thing is, I think it has to be with something to do with AI. It's like,
it's the future.
It's the future. It's like, you know, when the App Store, maybe you don't remember, but when the App Store just came out,
and
it was like this open, it was this new playground. Like it was.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Yeah. Well, at the beginning it was pretty easy. Now, if you build an app, it's very hard to get people to use it because there's so many apps.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, you had Apple's distribution, and also there were very few apps. So a lot of apps became very successful. So it's like this new medium that people get to interact with your product. And if you go before that as well, I was at an age where I could use the internet when it came out. Again, you don't remember that, but I remember we were using like it was called CTAnet for all, and you had to dial a specific number on a 33.6.
Yeah, I've heard stories about that.
Yeah, I don't know if you know the sound of a modem. Like it does a very specific sound when it dials in. Now, I mean, obviously now this
like a frequency or something.
Well, it's like a phone when you ring a phone.
Yeah,
it's the same, but it was basically making a call. To connect to the internet. Again, when the internet came out, things changed, right? You had to build a website. You had to be online. It's kind of like that. You have to. It's just it's gonna change a lot of things. A lot of the way business happens is going to change a lot.
Yeah.
People have to adapt. And, if you're not using AI in your company, or you're not building for AI, you're missing out on a big market and a big business opportunity, but also efficiency wise, your company is going to lag. Cause you can build huge businesses. That's my thesis. Maybe you needed 100 people before, now you need 10.
Yeah.
So you have to take advantage of AI, of AI.
Like people did back then when you told me with the internet that you had to dial the phone and you had to make a website and so on and so on. Those who took advantage of it obviously made a lot of profit.
Of course.
So we are having a repetition, let's say.
Yeah, history repeats itself.
With artificial intelligence though.
Yeah, it's as big, if not bigger, a change as the internet, I think.
How much will it extend into the future, do you think?
What do you mean extend? You mean
like, to what extent will we have AI? Would it be a life-changing like internet was?
Yeah.
Would it become a part of our life?
Maybe it's not in its current format. Maybe because its current format has a few limitations.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's like a prediction model, right? So it doesn't have feeling, doesn't know, it doesn't have intuition.
Like to the level that we'll be having chips inside our brains, for example.
I think so. I mean, yeah, I think so. Definitely at some point.
Isn't that scary though?
Well, I mean, yes and no. Actually, what scares me more is whether, like, what are we going to do in the future? What jobs are relevant?
Yeah.
Like, for example, my job, like knowledge workers, I don't know if I'm going to have a job in 5 years.
Due to AI?
Yeah. Like the AI, right now I write the same amount of code in 10 times less time, right? So what if you can just write everything you want? Then who needs programmers? Or, well, actually, you might need programmers, but it's going to be a very specific type of skill. So we have to adapt, and maybe it's going to be less of us. Or it's like people have to reskill. A lot of people have to reskill. Like for example, the agriculture revolution. Like get robots in the fields, then people now have to learn how to use the robots. The same for us. Now we have to learn how to delegate to the AI, have to manage the AI, and then hope that it's not going to take our job in 5-10 years time, right?
So what would you say would be a good job secure path to take so that AI...
Plumber, electrician.
Okay. So you think...
There's always a huge demand for these, the blue collar jobs.
So AI cannot overtake such jobs?
I think we're far behind. There are companies that are building humanoids now. Now, I don't know if you've seen, there's a lot of videos online. There's a specific company in the US called Figure. Also, Tesla, I think, is trying to build a humanoid.
Yeah.
That they build general purpose robots. They basically equip them with a neural network and also an LLM.
Mm-hmm.
And they can basically tell them to do stuff. They have relatively okay dexterity. Like they can pick stuff up. They can put stuff in the fridge. There's a video of like 2 robots that are not programmed to work together.
Yeah.
And they place a bag of groceries in front of them. And they basically, the guy tells them, just put them away. And then they realize that, okay, the ketchup goes into the fridge. This one goes into a drawer, and they start operating the kitchen. So it's a bit scary, but obviously it's like a toy.
Also, we've seen cases of, maybe children talking to ChatGPT, for example, instead of friends.
Yeah.
Isn't that a bit concerning?
The biggest growing market for AI right now is emotional assistance.
Isn't that the problem, though?
In what sense?
Isn't it better to go to a psychologist who is a human being and actually maybe...
What if the AI is trained on everything every psychologist ever said? What if it has the perfect answer for you? What if it speaks in a way that you feel it has feelings and that if you feel heard?
But you feel it has feelings. You feel that it has feelings. It actually does not.
Yeah, but it's still a feeling. Like if I feel that you have feelings, then, it doesn't really matter if you have it or not. That's my perception.
So your point of view is that it would have the same interaction as a human being.
It's not going to be the same, as in we're not going to be next to each other talking. So the same contact, but in terms of the words and the advice and all that,
the context, let's say, of the conversation,
it will be close. I think. Okay, I mean, obviously, I'm not suggesting that we're going to be in a room talking to an AI all day. Obviously, you want the human. You want the human touch.
I think it's a human need from
exactly. Yeah. But there's a certain level that AI will be good enough that people will just talk to it and be like their companion. Again, you might not remember. Do you remember Tamagotchis?
No.
Okay, well, there were like these little key rings that had a digital pet in them, and people would basically feed the pet and whatever. Like it was like their friend. It's kind of the same thing. Like, there's a lot of AI companion apps now that they listen to you. They remember stuff that you said. They maybe give you advice. There's a company I saw recently. They built like a little pendant that you can put here, and it basically hears you the entire day.
Wow.
And it speaks to you like a friend. That they programmed it to speak to you like a normal person.
Okay.
So you can have discussions with it. So people, I think, will get attached to these things. There was a case in the US that some kid committed suicide because the AI told it to, character AI. They told it to. So I think people will get attached to things, whether we want it or not. It's just inevitable. So we need a lot of they have to have a lot of trust and safety guardrails and everything around AI.
So the basic moral of the message here is that AI is the future. That's what we're getting.
AI will become indistinct. I don't think there will be a thing like we're gonna say, oh, this is AI in the future. It's just it. Like it will be indistinct.
It's AI.
It's just gonna be everywhere.
Yeah.
It's gonna be there without you knowing. It already is there without you knowing. Like when you Google search anything, you go on Amazon, everything's powered by AI, but it doesn't say it's Amazon AI, right? But everything's powered by AI.
Okay.
A lot of the stuff.
I think time's up. Okay. Thank you, Alex, for being here with us. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
I think we had a quite nice discussion on your background, your startups, and artificial intelligence in the future.
Very diverse discussion.
Very diverse.
Yeah.
Why? You didn't like it?
No, I liked it. But we covered a lot of topics, and I think it's just very natural. I talked about a lot of things, and I enjoyed giving you my opinion.
Okay. We want to thank the Grammar School for giving us the opportunity to have this podcast here. Thank Mrs. Kirill, Mr. Todd, Mrs. Cam for bringing Alex here, and see you in the next one.
Thank you very much.